Boom! What up, guys? What up, guys? Listen, today I want to talk about something special. I want to talk about some of the mistakes we've made on these pre-foreclosure leads in the state of New Jersey. Literally, guys, this deal actually made me not even want to invest in New Jersey anymore. It's been such a headache dealing with this property. And so we're gonna go through some of them. I literally wrote them down. I wrote all the mistakes down so that you guys can avoid it next time. Okay, don't repeat the same mistakes when you're working on pre-foreclosures. So if anybody know me, anybody following me on social media, you know I am a huge pre-foreclosure um, lover. Like I love pre-foreclosures. The reason being is because number one, they have that list is probably the highest pain point sellers you can go after. Secondly, is they really need your help. I love helping those people. The only challenge with dealing with pre-foreclosures, guys, is that is a roller coaster, right? These people go through a lot of different emotions. They're behind on their bills, the mortgage, the taxes, the HOA, their credit cards. Is bunch of they're undecided. They're natural procrastinators. That's the reason why they're in this problem in the first place, right? And so dealing with them is super challenging. Is a lot of follow-ups. The reason why a lot of people don't succeed with pre-foreclosures is because they don't follow up, because they think just because these people are behind on their payments, they will just hand them over the key to their property. Guys, that's not how it works. These people really got to trust you. They got to open up to you. They got to know that you know what you're talking about, that you know your stuff. You'll be you really care. That's really important for these people. And then some of them, the reality is they're just not decent human beings. That's the reason why they're in this problem in the first place. And so they will try to take advantage of you uh, any time of the day, right? So you got to make sure your paperwork, your upfront verbal contracts is really strong, before you do anything with these people, because it is what it is. It's a constant follow up even after you put them under contract. My guy Eric says he has a deal with a pre foreclosure right now. You're dealing with a pre foreclosure, right, bro? Yeah. In which state, Eric? Which state are you working on? That's what's up, dude. Um, All right, guys, let's dive into this deal, and I'll tell you guys, how we found the deal, right? How we found the deal, how we structure it, what type of liens we have to deal with, the seller story. We're gonna go over the mistakes with title. We're gonna go over the mistakes before closing and after closing, the partnership mistake. Um, you know, Trusting also your first instinct. Sometimes when you get certain deals and your instinct is telling you, you know what, I don't think you want to deal with this. Just wholesale it and just move on. But the problem is people like me that are mostly focused on buying holds. We're super stubborn, and anything that comes in our pipeline, we just want to keep. And sometimes it's not always a good fit. That's what I've learned. So sometimes it's okay to let it go, especially in states where you maybe don't have a lot of resources and all that fun stuff. It's better to just wholesale it to local investors and just move on, right? Because it can become a super headache, and you start bleeding money just because you want to keep an asset, and so it end up being such a headache instead of the other way around, right? Oh, Texas, guys, my favorite state when it comes to pre foreclosures. My favorite state ever. Like they're very aggressive when it comes to pre foreclosures. If they're foreclosing on you there, if they foreclose on you there, like the same day the sheriff is at your door, you gotta get out. And so those sellers usually, if the sale date is right around the corner, they're super highly motivated, super highly motivated. Eric, can you tell me if you can hear me okay? I'm not sure if my mic is working okay. I want to make sure that my audio is right. Are you can you hear me okay? Before I start diving into these details. That's dope, Eric. Keep it going. I hope the deal works out. Let's see, guys. I'm gonna pull up the address. Actually, I'm gonna do a screen share so you guys can see it's real. Not making this up. You can go literally look up the property. Boom, boom. Let me show you guys. Let's see. Public view, guys. I'm pulling it up right now before I do a screen share so you guys can see. Boom. All right, guys. Let's see. Let me share my screen so I can show you guys. Thank you, my guy. Appreciate you. Let's see. How do I share my screen? Boom. Not slides, extra camera, share screen. There you go. There you go. Okay, here you go. Boom. Boom. Here you go, guys. This is the property right here. This is the address, 150 East Brook Lane, Williamboro, New Jersey. Guys, first thing first, what I've learned is that this little township in New Jersey is the most difficult township to deal with. Like they're a headache with everything. They're super, they're a headache. I'm talking about if you get a property and you try to keep it as a rental, the township is just impossible to deal with, right? Just impossible. So as you guys can see here, it says sold for $169,000. That's actually not really accurate, guys. The reason it's showing $169,000 is the underlying mortgage plus the cash to seller and all that fun stuff was approximately around this amount. But the reality is this was the FHA loan. And so, you know, the seller was behind, I think, about $58,000. I forgot exactly, but it was a big amount. And what we did is we tried to do a loan modification, but instead they did what is called the FHA partial claim. FHA partial claim, guys. What that means is the seller. Let me see the seller. So what that means is the seller. Let's say hypothetically the seller is behind $50,000. Okay, on the FHA loan. And the seller apply for a loan modification. Sometimes what the lender will do is they will reach out to HUD. Okay, HUD will actually pay off the bank so that the bank is paid off under $50,000, and now the seller owes that money that was in arrears. Now they owe it to HUD, and what HUD will do, they will place that amount as a second lien position. Second lien position on the property. Second lien position means if the property ever, you know, somebody ever default and the property have to go to foreclosure, second lien means that person get paid second, right? So you have first position and second position. So they will put that as a second silent lien. What does that mean? Silent means there is no monthly payments. The seller is not making any monthly payments on that, but that amount is just sitting there. So 50,000 or 30,000, whatever that amount is that HUD paid off to the bank, will be sitting there as a second silent note. So if you ever go to sell the property 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, that amount will still be there. That's the only challenge with that. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad because you're not paying it down. There is no monthly payments, and so it's just sitting there. So what happened is some sellers that you deal with in pre-foreclosure, they forget to bring this up to you because they literally forgot that they did a loan modification. And what you're going to learn also is that most sellers that apply for loan modifications by themselves, they don't even look at the documents that they signed. And so this seller didn't know that the document that she signed is actually for a partial claim. She thought it's just a regular loan modification. What a regular loan modification does is they take the arrears and they just put it in the back of the loan. And then they come up with a new monthly payment. Sometimes that monthly payment goes down, sometimes it goes up, depending on the seller's income. But when they do a partial claim on the FHA loan, the lender actually get paid by HUD, and now you owe that money to HUD. And so because most sellers don't read what they sign, they don't disclose that to you, not because they're trying to, you know, which some of them do, but it is because they literally forgot. They don't read what they sign. And so, you know, you go to closing and then they just tell you, hey, there is, so the amount is not actually 169, it's 169 plus, I think it's $38,000 just sitting there from HUD. Okay. So anyway, guys, so let's go back to the beginning. How did we get this deal? How did we even get this lead in the first place? Okay. This was a pre-foreclosure, and it came to me through another wholesaler that reached out to the seller and, you know, try to work out a deal, but obviously a cash couldn't work because the seller was behind so much that a cash offer didn't make sense. They literally owed way more than anybody would ever pay them on cash. And so she didn't know what to do. She was also a newbie. So she brought it to me that same day that I got in touch with the seller. She was about to sign with the short sale queen. If you guys don't know who the short sale queen is, her name is Espinoza. I forgot what her last name is. So she was about to sign with her. The challenge with that is, with a short sale, is she was going to have that on her credit, which she didn't know, but she was going to have that on her credit report for, I think, 2 or 3 years, or even maybe a little bit more. So when I got in touch with her, because she is a business owner, I told her about the benefit of, instead of doing a short sale, how about we just get caught up on those arrears and do what is called the subject to transaction, to where we take over your payments, we restart making those payments, and obviously that restart building your credit. And we take over the mortgage, you don't have to deal with it anymore. We give you some cash to move. And so that was super, super appealing to her when we spoke on the phone. And so she ended up working with us. Okay. But why was these people behind? That's the most important thing. Why was these people behind on their mortgage? They vacated the property a long time ago. Guys, this property right here, the seller's family. So the mom and her 3-year-old boy, or 4-year-old at the time, I think, got killed by her daughter's ex-boyfriend inside the property. This was her primary residence. And so the daughter broke up with the boyfriend, and the boyfriend came one day, parked in front of the property, waited till the seller and her daughter got out of the house, and left the mom and the little boy inside the property. This was in the news in New Jersey. I did not know that when we first got in touch. And so he got in, Nicole Espinosa, exactly, right? So he got in and he killed the mom, and he killed the little boy, who was 3 to 4 years old. It was crazy. So when I called her that day and we got in touch, here's why she ended up working with us. A lot of investors was calling this lady. Obviously, when somebody's in pre-foreclosure, they're behind on their mortgage, people blow up their phone. Everybody and their cousin called them and try to buy their property, because obviously, it's public information, right? And so everybody was calling her, but nobody really ever sat down to listen to her story, to understand why has she vacated the property in the first place for so long, when she was in the middle of renovating this property when that happened. She was adding new flooring, new additions to the property, because this was their forever home, right? And when the crime happened, they completely vacated the property, her and her daughter. But can you imagine what trauma, what type of trauma the daughter and the mom is going through, losing, for the seller losing her mom, right? For the daughter losing her brother and her grandma over an ex crazy boyfriend, just because they broke up. And so when we spoke that night, she told me the story. We were talking, build great rapport, explain to her maybe how we could potentially work. But then I made her go back to the story and tell me exactly what's going on, what happened, how did we get here? And that's how she started telling me the story. I remember we started talking at 9 p.m. at night, Eastern time, and we ended up speaking up to like 11 p.m. So I was just listening to the story. So by the time we're done, she told me, Mamadou, you're the only person that actually took the time to listen to what we're going through. Everybody's calling me, but all they keep talking about is the property. Nobody really cared about what we're going through. And so that's why she decided, you know what, I'll work with you. I'll do the subject to thing. And I explained to her how that process looked like. And guys, I was shocked, right? I was shocked. So we're gonna get into the story, how that story of the crime literally affected our exit strategy in this area, and also a few mistakes that we did in the beginning, that we didn't do some due diligence, calling the township. We would have found out from the get-go that this is not a township you want to deal with. When it comes to buying homes, we should have just wholesale this property. But anyway, that's how you learn, guys. I get excited about making mistakes. It's not a problem at all. And so let's go through it. So that was the seller's story. Okay, guys, what I found out later is that the daughter is really, really going through a super, super, traumatic period. The daughter still goes to that property, sit in front of the door and cry. right? And cry. So because she feels like it's her fault that her little brother and her grandma got killed, obviously. And the seller, who's the mom, just plunged literally her head into her work. She keeps herself busy 24 hours just not to think about this. And so all she does now is travel, work, and try to help her daughter heal, which is not an easy thing. Which is not an easy thing at all to help daughter heal. It's super tough. You can only imagine, right? So that's the seller story, guys. So, and they were emotionally attached to this property too. They kind of want to let it go because they know this is the chapter they want to close. But at the same time, they're like, this is where my mom died, my son, and all that. Like they still emotionally super attached to this property. As it took us a year to close on this transaction, a year, maybe a little bit more, because the wholesaler that brought me this lead, by the time we closed, she had already stopped even doing real estate. That's how long it took. All right. And so that's the story for the seller, guys. And so when we did the FHA partial claim, guys, for to put the a year, Jasper, a year. When we did the FHA partial claim, guys, that's like doing a loan modification, but this is called the FHA partial claim. Okay. And so when you do a loan modification or FHA partial claim on pre-foreclosure lead, guys, at that point, the bank put the seller what is called the trial period. What is the trial period? The trial period is when is the bank putting the seller to test for 3 or 4 months, or normally it's 3, to see if the seller is going to pay the mortgage on time. And so if the seller pays the mortgage on time for 3 months, then the loan modification is official. But guess what? Most investors don't know this. The seller could already not afford their mortgage payments before the loan modification. Do you think now they can afford it while after the loan modification? They can't. And so you, the investor, is actually who's making those payments. If you have, obviously your legal documents in place with the seller, and the seller is not wanting to keep the property and they want to sell it. So you're the one making those monthly payments and making sure. But now, here's the issue. The real issue is this is where having the right title company and the right attorney comes into play, because remember, you're making a monthly mortgage payment on a property that you don't own. The deed and title hadn't transferred yet. So if you're doing a subject to transaction, meaning you're taking over somebody's mortgage payments, not assuming it, just taking over the payments, and the mortgage stays on the seller's name, right? That's what a subject to is. Remember, you cannot close title while the trial period is happening, guys. The bank will call the due on sale on you if you do that. So within those 3 months, you have to pay the mortgage, but you can't really close escrow. Now, there is a way around you being, depending on the condition of the property. I just closed on a subject to transaction where we did a loan modification, not we, but the seller. And we caught the seller while the trial period was happening. And what we did is my attorney came up with a specific type of lease that protects my investment. And so I was able to rent out the property while the trial period was happening. And so I've been cash flowing on this property for 6 months, before close of escrow. We're able to make that happen, right? But you cannot close escrow on a subject to a transaction on a trial period, guys. Never do that. Never, okay? And so, we were making the monthly payments after the FHA trial. Now, here's the challenge. Remember, I told you guys these sellers are going through a really, really traumatic type of situation, right? Really, really traumatic type of situation. And so because of that, they're not only super emotionally attached, but every single document we send them to sign, they take about 1 week or 2 weeks, even sometimes 3 weeks to return the document we need to move forward with the transaction. Sometimes they're in Jamaica, right? And so the title reach out, they don't respond on time. If you know anything about real estate, when you open up escrow with a title company, the documents that the requests from the bank, from the county, from the HOA, whatever it is, those documents, the payoffs and so on, those have date limits on it. So for example, if you reach out to Wells Fargo, if the title company reach out to Wells Fargo and request a payoff and Wells Fargo send it, that payoff is only valid for 30 days. And so if the seller takes more than 30 days to return some of the documents that title needs, guess what? Now you have to go back to Wells Fargo and request a new payoff because the other one expired. And so that kept going with the sellers over and over and over. There was two sisters involved with this, which we found out later. So the seller, when she took the mortgage, she actually had her sister be a co-borrower, and her sister didn't know anything about this property being sold subject to. That was our mistake because we didn't ask about, is there anybody else that is involved in this transaction? Because when we looked it up, only her name appeared on title, and so her sister was on the mortgage. And she never told her family, nor her daughter, nor her sister, that she's selling the property because she knew those people weren't ready emotionally to let this property go. And so that became a problem also throughout the transaction. And so it was calling them all the time, please send back the paperwork. That's why it took a year, guys. It took a year because it was super challenging to get the sellers to do what they're supposed to do, get both sisters on the same page, get the daughter to understand that they cannot keep this property because financially they cannot afford to keep the property, right? So it took a year. So within that year, guys, here's what we did, and this is something else you don't want to do. So I'm going to share my screen one more time and show you guys what we did here. So the property needed a lot of work, guys. This property needed a lot of work. So you see it right now on Zillow. Actually, it's because we did the renovations. This is not how it looked before. Let me see if I can share my screen and show you guys what it used to look before. This property was trashed because the police, when they came at the crime scene, they completely trashed the property to find evidence and whatnot, right? So they ripped out the flooring and all this fun stuff. Let's see if I have it here. I think I only have the finished products when it comes to the pictures. Yeah, I only have the finished products, but let me show you guys. Let me share my screen. It is crazy, Eric. Super crazy. Okay, boom, boom. Look at that. So when you look at this, guys, can you guys see my screen, Eric? You guys can see my screen? Let me know if you can see my screen share, guys. Mr. Jasper, I see you, boy. I'm working with another pre-foreclosure with Mr. Jasper as well. Okay, boom. There you go. So guys, look at that. We did this renovation, right? This property was worse. Like the flooring was all messed up. You couldn't breathe inside this property. You can tell the roof, because we haven't changed it, you can tell it needs work. The pool behind here. So if you look at here, let me see, right here, there is a pool in the back. I don't have a picture somehow, but the pool was completely trashed, which the quote that we got for the pool was about like $38,000. So we decided, because there's no equity, this is not a fix and flip, we're trying to hold it, I'm not going to fix the pool. Okay, guys, here's the mistake that we did in this state, New Jersey. I didn't know much about this. So what we should have done is call the county and find out, when the sellers bought this property, did they get a permit for the pool and for, there's an attic, there's a like an ADU in the back. We should have called and find out. And so when the initial exit that we wanted to do was a wrap. And when you do a wrap, usually, guys, if you guys don't know what a wrap is let's say you take over a property subject to, meaning you take over the mortgage, you turn around and finance it to somebody else. There's people out here that have great jobs, they have the money, but they just can't qualify with the bank to buy a home because they don't have good credit. And so we do finance those people. So you go to those people, you finance them with a down payment, and then you give them maybe 3 to 5 years to pay you out. And you finance them, let's say hypothetically your underlying mortgage is at 3.75%, right? And the property, you know, the underlying mortgage is maybe 150. You can go to those people, finance it to them at $200,000 for 8 or 9%. That's what a wrap is, just to keep it simple. Okay. And so that was the initial exit strategy that I had in my head, is we're just going to wrap this. One thing, guys, if you want to do a wrap, I'm telling you right now, before close of escrow, test the market and see if there is a demand for it. Right. So we advertise wraps. We advertise those on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and so on. Right. Make a post and test if there is a demand. If I did that, I would have known there is not a lot of demand for that in this area. Most people there cannot afford the down payment. I would have known that. And it was taking so long to get these sellers to, you know, sign the paperwork and whatnot. I was like, you know what? Usually when we do a wrap, I don't close before I find my wrap buyer, because I want to close the same day with both my seller and my wrap buyer the same day and do one closing, so I don't have to do a double close. So I don't have to pay the closing costs twice. But here I was like, you know what? These sellers are super, super emotionally attached to this property. Every single day their emotion and what they want changes. Let me just close on this and get it over with, and then I'll deal with finding the right buyer later. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. So, you know, here's the thing, guys. So I went and I tried to raise money to fix up the property. That's how you guys see. I think we spent about 40K to fix the property, right? And it wasn't even well done, because when we got the inspection, guys, after close of escrow, the inspector found so many things that was wrong. But remember, this is a virtual deal for me. I don't have a lot of resources out there. And so when I went to try to raise the funds, I found two private lenders. One of them wanted to lend on the deal for interest only. The challenge with that is I have to deal with everything else. I have to go out and find, you know, boots on the ground, and find a GC, and find, you know, everything that goes with holding on to a property, right? And then I had a second one. Yeah, make a ghost ad. Exactly, Eric. Make a ghost ad and test the market, right? And so, because what happened is when you close, now you have monthly payments. You're paying a mortgage every single month. So unless you can rent this thing or wrap it right away, guess what? You're losing money every single month. And so before close of escrow, I found two lenders. One was interest only, silent type of, you know, partner, just want my return, right? I needed $69,000 as an entry fee to get into this deal. That $69,000, guys, was going to take care of cash to seller, which was $10,000, closing costs, which was I think $10,000 or $11,000, and then the repair cost and a lot of other liens that needed to be paid on top of the arrears. So the arrears, we did a FHA claim, so we don't have to pay that. But there was a county violation, you know, code violation liens. There was water liens, all that fun stuff. So if you're dealing with pre-foreclosures, guys, if they're behind on their mortgage, they're also behind on 5 other things that you're gonna have to deal with at close of escrow. And so the whole 69 was to take care of all of that, right? The second private lender was like, you know what? I am in New York. New Jersey here is not far from me. So how about I come in as an equity partner and I'll do the legwork in order to get the property, you know, ready and whatnot. That was more appealing to me, because then, you know what? I did the acquisition, worked out a deal, convinced the seller to do all this fun stuff. I secured the funding in place, meaning the mortgage. And so if he can do the legwork and bring the money, that's a win-win, right? I don't have to worry about calling GCs and whatnot, right? So we closed escrow, guys, and then we started like testing out a few different exit strategies. So the wrap, nothing was biting, no demand. Most Hispanics, guys, also I found this. Most Hispanics, when you're doing a wrap, guys, some of them will literally go on your post, respond to your post, but they're actually not looking for a home. What they're looking to do is to come do a walkthrough and ask you if they can get the job. If they see that the pictures needs work, they're super slick. So they want to come to you, and they want to come and meet you, see the property, act like they want to buy it as a wrap, but actually they're looking to see if you can hire them to fix up the property. So we got a lot of that. And then the rest is like, you know, when you do an ad for a wrap, you get a lot of people that don't even read the post. That's very smart, indeed, Jasper. That's super smart. But it's annoying for you, the investor. It's like you're wasting my time. You're making me drive all the way to this property just for you to start asking me. No, I don't need it. If I needed it, I was going to make a post about looking for somebody to do the work. But I can only respect the grind. I can't really critic it, so I respect it. But anyway, guys, so we weren't getting any demands as far as wraps is concerned. Most people also didn't have the money. Even though they wanted it, they just don't have the down payment. They cannot afford the monthly. They can barely afford the market rent in that area, right? And then so we decided, you know what? Let's just pivot maybe back to a regular rental. That's where the problems started. That's where the problem started. We pivoted to a regular rental, and this township, for you to rent out, they have to bring out an inspector and then inspect the property, and they wanted everything fixed. All the work we were already done, they wanted us to do it all over again. They said the flooring is not leveled up. And then they said the additions to the property was not permitted, which is the ADU and the pool. But the seller claimed that she bought the property that way when she bought it with an FHA loan, and they did an inspection and nobody brought up that this wasn't permitted. She said she's not the one that did the add-on. And the third thing that was hurting us, guys, with the tenant applicants is this: is most of them they apply for the property, they want to rent it out, great, and then they go online and research the address, and guess what pop up? What pop up is the articles about the murder that took place inside the property. And so a lot of people started thinking, this house might be haunted with ghosts. So they back out. We didn't test the property to see if there were ghosts inside this property. It's not like the property was like banned from the county or whatever for somebody to enter. So I didn't even think that, it didn't even cross my mind. But I guess now I think about it, it makes sense, right? And so it's not like we also didn't disclose it. But when they research it, for some reason, the next day you just get a text or whatever, hey guys, I don't feel comfortable. There might be ghosts. This house might be haunted or whatever. So I was like, oh my gosh. And remember, guys, it's been a year now and a few months. So we've been paying this mortgage for maybe about 4 or 6 months. We're paying the mortgage every single month, bleeding money. We already fixed up the property. We cannot get a tenant because the county want us to go back and do the work, which we don't want to spend a penny anymore into this property. Now people think that the property is haunted. We can't get a buyer to buy the property. And now because I could have wholesaled this property honestly right at close of escrow. But because now we spent money to fix up the property, now if we were to wholesale it, the purchase price is a little bit higher because we want to recoup at least the money that we spent for fixing, closing, cash to seller, all that fun stuff. So the entry fee for a buyer that would want to buy this from us on a wholesale, they have to come in with like 70 to 75K, which nobody would do it. It wouldn't make sense. The cash flow is not that great, right? And so now what to do? The only thing to do is go back, spend the money that the county is asking, is about $14,000 to fix everything they're asking to fix for you to be able to rent it out to tenants. And then in the middle of it, trying to take care of that, the lending partner that wanted equity and partnership decided, you know what, I'm going to back out. I'm going to back out, Mamadou, because I don't want this deal anymore, this and that, this and that. Well, now, the only reason I went with the equity partnership is because you said you're going to do the legwork. Now you went into back, which I understand. I don't have a problem with it, but you can't really blame the property, right? Because this is real estate. I mean, there is risk to it, right? So if now you want to back out, now you're leaving me with no resources on the ground and having to take care of this with everything else I got going. I mean, I could have done this in the first place, just go with the guy that is lending me for interest only, and I don't have to deal with this, right? And so I decided, you know what, F it. We're just going to find a way to either sell the note or you find a way where we can offload the property, because this is an equity partnership. I did the acquisition. I did what I was supposed to do in the front end. We got the deal. You were bringing the funds, so you're going to have to handle that end. Right? And so that's this property, guys, up to now. We haven't offloaded yet, by the way. It's still sitting in my pipeline. That's another mistake. Choose the right partner. When you're going into a property, choose the right partnership. There's two ways to partner up. One is somebody just lending you the money, right? And they're just lending you the money, they're getting their interest every month, they don't have a say, they're out, they're passive. That's good, you know, you don't have to think about that one. But the second one, when it comes to equity partnership, is like getting married. You want to make sure you're getting married with the right person, because if I knew that he doesn't have, you know, that long vision, and he's not also somebody who's paid, because it's a challenging deal. It's not that we cannot rent it, we just need to do these few things that the county is asking, and then we can rent it. But you cannot go back on your word and say, oh, now mama, do you bring the money to do this, do that? No, that was not the partnership agreement. The partnership agreement is I bring the asset, you bring the money, and you bring the legwork. And if you stop doing that, now you're not holding your end of the deal. So I'm not going to try to go out of my way to do that unless you get out of the picture, which, you know, I'm not mad at him. I'm just saying it is what it is, right? So make sure whoever you go into equity partnership with, they also have that long-term vision, patience, and also their, how do you call it, risk tolerant is the same as yours. If yours is low and you go with somebody that is, my risk tolerance is high. I'm not afraid of making mistakes. I'm not afraid of risk, calculated risk. I don't make dumb risk. And I believe there is always a solution to a problem. So I don't panic. I don't, you know, my birthday, I'll still have my birthday tomorrow. The worst thing that can happen with this deal is, you know, we sell the note or somebody come in and take over the mortgage and fill our shoes, and that's it. And then we learn $1 million lesson. Next time, this is the mistakes you avoid. That's how I look at things. I don't panic. I don't start crying. I don't start, you know, oh my God, the world is ending. No, I don't. Because you don't learn from good deals. You learn from bad deals. Bad deals are the ones that teach you how to be a great investor, not good deals. If you don't make mistakes, how do you learn? You have to make mistakes to learn. You have to be okay making mistakes, right? Jasper says, crazy to see that change from going from free skip tracing to now. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. So you have to be okay making mistakes. It's perfectly okay. Just think about, I mean, if we didn't make this mistake on this property here, would I have a story to tell? No. No, I would have just been here saying, oh, we got this property, we locked it up subject to, and then we wholesaled it, and then we made $20,000. Boom. What is exciting about it? What would you learn with that? Nothing. Nothing. You can only learn if I made a mistake. And next time, guess what? When you have a deal in a state, especially when it's virtual, now you know what to look out for. You know you need to call the county. You know you need to make sure that you trust your first instinct, which my first instinct on this property, guys, was telling me wholesale it and move on. That was my first instinct. But because I consider myself as a buy and hold investor, which I am, now I'm going to find a way to keep this. I'm going to find a way to keep this. You don't keep everything. And so next time I know it's okay, just let it go, because you don't have resources on the ground. And so it will end up hurting you more than it will actually do good to you, right? And so, you know, choose the right partnership and make sure when you write the joint venture partnership that everything is laid out black and white. Who's responsible for the funding and who's responsible for the deal, who's responsible for the legwork. When somebody tried to back out, what happened? Because now I feel like we haven't done that, guys. We didn't write. If somebody tried to back out of this joint venture, what happens? That this joint venture should have said, if one party try to back out of the responsibility, they loses the partnership. They completely loses anything that they invested in it. That's what it should have said, because I found buyers that could have bought this property, but they can't because the partner is holding on to his position of wanting, you know, his cake and eat it too. That's how I feel. Not mad at him, but it's just what it is, right? And so trust your first instinct, guys. When you're working on these deals, when you're working on pre-foreclosures, be comfortable going through, guys, roller coaster type of emotions. You know, yes, cause chaos to learn. I love that, Nicholas. I love that. That's a mic drop right there. Right, guys. So trust your first instinct. Don't question it. choose the right partnership, make the calls if you have certain doubts. Like when we looked at this property, we should have called the county to find out what's going on with the permitting. Guys, this is all this is all, how do you call it, public, like public, is all in the public records, is all public information. Like if you call them, they will actually tell you, was this property permitted, was not permitted, whatever, look out for this, look out for that. And we would have found that this is not a township we want to waste time with. We're too busy for this, right? And also the sellers in the beginning, pay attention to their emotional state, right? When we first spoke with this crazy story, I should have known it's going to take a long time to close with these people. It's going to take a long time, right? But again, guys, this is why we're here, so now you guys won't make this mistake. All right. Anyway, guys, please leave a comment after this. Let me know what you've learned, what your takeaway is. If you like it, obviously share, take a screenshot and share it. Jasper, hey Mamadou, want to call up Eli after the story? He's waiting for your call. Absolutely, bro. Let's call Mr. Eli. Guys, I'm working on a pre-foreclosure with Jasper that I'm helping him to close. Already sent out the purchase and sale agreement. And the seller, let's see. Let's call the seller. Let's see what's up with Mr. Eli. Jasper. Let's do a live call. Eric, are you local to Texas? Jasper, he better pick up. He said he'd pick up today. Didn't he say 6 p.m., Jasper?
I'm sorry.
Jasper, can you text me which number he was responding to you on, saying to call him today? Because I think this guy gave me 2 numbers. Text it to me, not on the chat. Text it to me privately on my cell. Yeah, Eric, tell them, man, don't be greedy with the algorithm. Hit that like button and the subscribe too. Come on, don't be greedy. Don't just consume content and say people are, bringing value to you and you can't even freaking like the video, Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Let's see, Jasper 0378. Let's see. Oh, okay. 0378. Okay, I was hold on, Jasper. I'll try it. I was calling him on a different number. Let me try this one then. Let me try this one, guys. Let's see if we can have this seller sign live. We already sent out the purchase and sale agreement. This is a sub 2. Also have the auction right around the corner, so we gotta move fast on it. But obviously, guys, like I said, when you're dealing with pre-foreclosure sellers, they're natural procrastinators. This guy has an auction coming up and he's procrastinating even picking up the call. It's crazy. And then they'll call you the day of the auction. Help me, please save me. They're gonna take my home. Of course, I called you 1 month ago. Why didn't you pick up? Why didn't you pick up? Gosh. Let's see. 694. Let's call this guy, Mr. Eli. Let's work, Lawrence. Let me know. Jasper, tell him I'm calling. He's not picking up. So guys, you know if you don't call 3 times, you haven't called once, right? Don't just call once and say the seller didn't pick up. Blow their phone up. It's okay, Eli. Jasper, if he doesn't pick up, try to see if you can get him on the phone and just patch me on the 3-way. I do have a meeting, a Zoom for my Airbnbs at 7. What's up, Elton? How you doing, bro? It's my favorite. Sorry, the person. Oh shit. Elton Chang and Elena Chang. I love these people. Good to see you, bro. Jasper, tell him to stop smoking pot and pick up the damn phone. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna call the day of auction. No, you didn't call me. I didn't see the call. I didn't see the call. Yes, we did. Why you do this? Whoa. Why do you do this? Oh my gosh, pre-foreclosure sellers will drive you crazy, guys. I'm telling you. Anyway, guys, give me guys the people that was here when I was telling the story of the property. What is your one takeaway if you had to put it in one line? Can you put it? I want to put it on the chat here before I call it a day on this live. Give me one takeaway that you just got from this live. And thank you, man, for hanging out with me, man. I got 6 people. Damn, it's good. I don't know why Facebook is like making my lives private. I need to find how to fix that. Can you guys see the live on my Facebook channel? I think they're not showing it. They're making it private for some reason. Come on, guys, give me at least 2 takeaways before I call it a day. Give you guys that boom, boom, boom outro. Yes, Jasper, make a ghost ad for wraps, guys. If you don't know what a ghost ad is you don't put out the address or anything like that. You just take like maybe 1 or 2 pictures, you put it on Craigslist, put the terms that you're thinking about giving to your buyer, and put it there. Put it on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, and see what is the response that you get. All right. See if you have a demand for your product in that area. My pleasure, Paul. I better see those likes, guys. Hit that like button, man, and hit the subscribe, yo. If you don't have resources on the ground, it's okay to wholesale the deal. Yes, yes, Jasper. Yes. If you don't have resources on the ground, if you don't have strong boots on the ground, it is okay to wholesale it and just move on. Wholesale it to a local investor, have them deal with all the headaches, get your wholesale check, and move on to the next, baby. To the left, to the left. You guys know that Beyonce song? To the left, to the left. If you want to live, be my guest, you can start. Partner with ghosts. Oh my gosh, Nicholas, that's a good one. That's a good one. The reason Nicholas is saying that, guys, is because the property, there was the family, there was people killed in this property, and so the tenants are thinking the property is haunted. So I saying that. Make sure you do the research for all the proper permits. Yes, man, Jasper, man, your takeaways are good, bro. You must be really good at taking notes. I love that. That is so good, Jasper. That is really good. You should actually do a reel with this, with like your takeaways. This is really good. This would be a good reel. Start posting, bro. I mean, you already started. Proud of you. Hey, Mamadou, Facebook user. How are you doing, Facebook user? I wish you had a name so I can call you on your name. Make sure the decision makers agrees to sell the house. That is super, super key. Find the black swan, like they call it in, if you guys know the book, Never Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar. That's a sales book, best sales book out here. They tell you how to always make sure you find the black swan. The black swan is that person hidden that can kill your deal. Make sure you ask about the husband, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the cousin, whoever is also part of the decision, and address their concerns. All right. Boom. That's a good one. Nicholas Prado. My guy's down over there. Be aware of who you partner. Oh, yes. This one is so good. This one is the mic drop. We're going to start with this one. This one right here, guys. Huh. So good. I'm telling you guys, like this one will save you so much time and headaches. So much time and headaches. Anyway, guys, thank you for hanging with me. I'm about to go on these Airbnb Zooms. We're taking down multiple Airbnbs. We're going to sit down and underwrite them. As you guys know, I'm in love with those Airbnb cash flow. Guys, stay bold, be bold, take action, start posting, stop making excuses. All right, stop making the damn excuses. Start posting on social media to bring more business to you so that people know who you are, what you do. Start raising money, start building more relationships, man. You cannot be everywhere. You can't, even if you wanted to, you cannot go to all the meetups physically and all that fun stuff. But if you start posting, guess what? Your post, people can see that all over in all 50 states. Okay, that's how you build a great network, guys. Start freaking posting. People need to know who you are, what you do, what can they come to you for. Otherwise, you're doing yourself a disservice. Can you do live for the 10K cut? Absolutely, bro. I'll do a live, Mr. Jasper. I'm actually working on that. Invite me to the Airbnb, Mr. Paul. That's a private Zoom with my team. Unless if you have private money, I'll invite you on there for you to invest. We need private money. All right, but that's a private Zoom. Let's see, what are the basic pillars you follow for agent outreach is on the market listing? I'm thinking of approaching with we are to help solve problems over the norm, especially creative. I'll be honest, I don't really do agent outreach. I'm helping few folks. I'm guiding them through the calls, teaching them how to talk to this agent, but I don't personally do it. They do it, and then we just work on the deals together. So the basic right now in this market, guys, literally we just call in agents and pitching them terms. Properties are staying on the market for over 50 days, 100 days, 200 days. They're not selling. It's not because the properties are bad. Most of them are actually fully fixed up, looks great. The problem is because of the interest rate hikes, buyers cannot afford the payments. And so the properties are not selling. So creative finance right now, guys, is going to dominate. Like literally this past weekend, I was in Maryland, role playing with, not role playing, networking with real estate agents that are guys, they're trying to learn this stuff because creative finance is going to help them keep making these commissions. And if you're a real estate agent and you're still close-minded about creative finance, you're going to stop eating soon. I'm asking you to reconsider. All right, be a service. Definitely, Paul. So I have a show coming up with my guy Hong Mei. We're gonna do everything, all things Airbnb. We'll invite people, help you underwrite your Airbnbs. We can help you find the right management that we have in-house. We can help you find designers, all that fun stuff. So we have that coming up. We're gonna do it once a week. People can come up with their deals. We'll help you underwrite it and whatnot. That will be good. Look out for that. I'll announce that really soon. Potential sub 2 learns. I don't have time right now. I gotta hop off. I have another Zoom, but if you PM me, I can definitely put you in touch with my acquisition. My acquisition would be happy to call your seller. I've been talking to commercial brokers and I swear they have, yeah, bro. Right now the market is gonna force them to work with investors. They have no choice, so they better. Kevin Cho, my guy, yeah, Kevin Cho method. I would say pace method. You know what I'm saying? But Kevin Cho, my guy, really good too. Action taker. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button, guys. And on to the next story. I'm gonna do this once a week deal study. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring on the deals that I've done, that I'm doing. We're gonna talk about the deal, the story, how we found it, how we funding it, what is the exit strategy, what is exciting, not exciting about it, how we growing, how we making this cash flow, baby. All right. Yo, stay bold, be bold. Boom, boom, boom. We're out.